Hello everyone, Angelo here, homeless filmmaker in LA, but that's not nearly the whole story. Certain events, circumstances have arisen that demand us to meet right now, so I'm calling an assembly, I'm waking people up, people are making phone calls. Get the F in here, because basically I got the call I've been dreading. I've got my thinking hat on. I lost my hat today, my other one, but this one's better. It cost me $6 though, $6.60. I was in such a rush this morning to leave the park and get going, doing things. I left my hat at the park, I'm pretty sure, and I went back there this afternoon. It was gone. I hung it up on a fence. So whatever. This is better because I like this thing in the back, and also this overall it's softer. But I like this thing in the back because I would always put my hoodie up to cover. I still might maybe have to cover the sides of my head. I don't like the sun hitting any part of me. But at least this covers the back of my neck. I get tired of the whole thing. Okay, go back in the car, take off the glasses, or put on the glasses, take off the mask, take down the hoodie, put on the mask, it's just a lot. That's a lot simpler. I considered getting one of those massive sombreros like this big, but I'm like, nah. I want something that's flexible, that I can squeeze into my car. Because, damn it, I need everybody right now. So click like right now. Do it! Don't wait. Can't believe this. I can't believe this. What happened? I can't believe how fat I feel certain times a day. Now I feel fat, probably because I got a dump cooking up in there tomorrow. I'm probably gonna have to get rid of it. But certain times a day I'm like, oh, I feel thin. Now I'm like, oh, I feel like I got a bunch of jelly worms, gummy worms wrapped around my stomach. Pontiac Vibe that has a Toyota engine in it. I would get one of those. Or Aztec, whatever. Also, I'm streaming kind of early. It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever. I may be going to bed at 5:30 or 6, kind of starting in the next few days or so. We don't know. Time is going to change for me. Time is going differently. I'm still dissociating. Hey, Danny. Yes, thank you for addressing me as God. I am God. God is upset today. Wow, I've never seen a Tesla with that color. It's almost like clay gray, but it's a nice color. Oh man. Well, first of all, there was a whole stressful wake up with the wind blowing so hard and showering in like 40-mile-an-hour wind. I thought it was going to go away at noon. I misread the weather report. It's going away at noon tomorrow. So it was so windy, I could barely concentrate at the park. I was trying to read and write. I could barely do it. So I walked around some. And then it happened. The very thing I was worried about happening. It happened. This is like secret meeting stuff now. This is why I need my comrades here. Thank you, damn spot. Well, it may be better for East Coasters from now on, even though I'm on the West Coast, but I'm on a whole different time zone now. I got a phone call today. Basically, the worst phone call I could ever want in my life. I'm pretty sure I was taking a leak when they called me. So I didn't pick up. I checked my voicemail. I'm like, did they leave a voicemail or not? It's probably another spam call. I get so many of them. Yeah, your car's warranty is out of service. We would like to upgrade. Oh, we got to approve you for a new carpet cleaning. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The phone call was from another state, though. I'm like, why is somebody in another state calling me? They said, call me back. This is about a job I applied for. Now, don't you think I want a job? Wouldn't that be a good thing to happen for me to get a job? What do you think? All of you. Type your answers. Do it! I called back. This is unreasonable. Talked to the guy, talked about the job, something applied to warehouse work. And I'm like, man, these people do not really value their employees that much. Oh, and I got really screwed on something else. Oh boy, this was crap. Oh, and I don't know what pants I'm going to wear for my job interview. Look at my pants. That's from doing burpees with my wallet in my pants and flashlight and pens and all kinds of crap. I haven't looked in there in years. And then this from doing burpees with my glasses case in here. I started putting them in my jacket pocket because tore this open. So these are great jeans, but man, I really gave them a lot of abuse. 6 months. Thank you. Yes. Affirm it. Call me Yes God. Say Yes God. But this took like 6 months to wear into here. I've gotten cheap jeans from Target that will wear out in like 2 weeks. And literally just not even from exercise, just the belt will break, like the belt loops will break off. The warehouse job, it's one thing I'm kind of glad about. It's early. It's an early shift, really early. It's kind of good, so I get over my shift earlier. Don't mind the phone number on my hand. I'll get into that part of the story later. So basically, it's warehouse stuff, it's lifting stuff, putting stuff away, sorting stuff. They want me to do an interview. I said, all right, I'll do it. The pay was $15 an hour, minimum wage. I'm not going to give minimum work, but they want minimum wage for me. And they said they're paying $1 extra hazard pay due to the Trump virus. Which means whenever they decide they don't want to pay it anymore, they're going to take that back, that dollar. How could you look people in the face, unless you think they're like maggots, they're like insects, and even make an offer like that? And every 6 months, 50-cent an hour raises. And I said, well, what's the Trump virus situation there? Has anyone got infected? What do you guys do? What's the policy if someone gets infected? Or do you test people there? Do you provide tests? Do you do temperature checks? No, they don't do any of that. If you have it, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. And you got to get tested on your own. They don't provide testing. So that's a crappy deal. I'm working on a short film this weekend. They're providing a test for it. I guarantee this short film, they don't have the budget that this company does. The good thing is it's a short drive. I don't have to commute far. My interview's really early in the morning. I only have to get up a little bit earlier than I normally would. But it's really early because it's an early shift there. Basically, my day will be done by noon. And so they don't do anything other than pay you the minimum plus $1, which they'll take away as soon as they can. I'm sure they won't even wait till the Trump virus is gone. And then they're going to give me 50-cent an hour raises. That's like an extra $15 for every week, I calculated. Because it's not quite a 40-hour-a-week job. I'm sure they worked that out too to make sure nobody is 40 hours a week. Now, how these people can look their employees in the eye, I know, that's bad, Bacon Architect. Thank Danny B, exactly. You understand how offensive that is. You tell God that he's not going to get paid medical leave? And as for symptoms, I said, how do you deal with it if someone has symptoms or what? He's like, well, you got to report that yourself. Nobody checks or anything about that. Yeah, I'm sure they don't want to know. And click like, everyone. Click like, get it to 8 like, because we need this message to get out. So here's why I need my comrades. Oh, and the phone number. This isn't even the phone number I ended up needing, I don't think. Wait, is it? It might have been. Yeah, I don't know. They said I need 2 forms of ID. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't bring anything with me. My birth certificate, social security card, nothing. So I'm like, can you take a picture of them or something? They're like, no, but we need to get it. If you can order a copy, do it. So I ordered a copy. It says $23 to order it. I called, ordered, then they say, oh, there's going to be a shipping fee. They don't say what it is. I call, order it. By the end, it's $58. I'm like, huh? I wanted to talk to the person, the lady in the government office and be like, wait a minute, 58? I'm not trying to get overnight shipping or something. I'm just trying to get but I'm like, what's the point? What is the point? Like, it's obviously that's how it works. So I said, sure. $58 is a huge amount of money I did not want to spend. And I am so behind on everything right now. I can't even get an oil change. I'm like 100 miles past 3,000 miles, which I know it's not an emergency for that, but so behind on everything. Oh, about $22,000 on my credit cards. I'm not going to be able to rent any room unless I'm like just eating crumbs and crackers. But I need a job. So all right, I'll take the interview. I'm sure I'll do aces at it, aces at the job. But here's where I want my comrades, you all. We need to form unions. We need to negotiate with our bosses for better pay. 50 cents an hour, here's the thing. The good thing about living in my car. Once I work there a little bit, I got all the money I need to live for a while. So I feel like if I manage to stick it out there 6 months, which I'd kind of like to, and it seems relatively safe as far as the Trump virus, what they told me, because we're all spaced out and everyone wears masks. They didn't say anything else, though. I got to talk at the office. This guy was not calling from the office. He was calling from like some corporate office. So I got to find out how it goes there. But in 6 months, if I get a 50-cent an hour raise, I'm going to want to be like, no, I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting the minimum from you. Like $2 an hour raise, minimum. I'm not able to afford a home on what I'm getting. How can you tolerate that? And I'm sure by then I'll know how well the company's doing, how well the bosses are doing. Maybe the regional manager or whatever come by in a nice car and look at the place and be like, here you go, I bought you a box of donuts. Go eat, you rats. We must unionize. We must come together so that everybody, one person, 2 people, 5 people can't do it. They'll just say, screw you, we'll fire you and we'll get other people. And then you're out of luck, and me, I'll be okay. But other people, they probably got homes and bills and families. But if everybody does it, we're like, well, we're not going to work if you don't do it. Shut it down. They will come begging. I know because it's happened. That's where you come in, comrades. And I forgot to link this. And it's not enough to live off. Oh, I got a bunch of comments here. Monsieur Angelo, I prefer God, but that's pretty good too. Well, rent strike, here's the wait, okay, I gotta back up. There's a bunch of comments here. Hello, Gerard. I don't think you would want to work in Idaho. No one wears masks in their close quarters. No, I would not want to work there. Demand higher pay. That's the problem. One person demanding it, they're going to be like, no, why would we do it? And I'm seriously risking my own ability to live if I don't get a job soon. However, I would have no issue with working there, getting to know people, being a good worker, helping people out, getting their support, and just seeing, hey, how happy is everybody here? Would you like to make more money? Don't you think it's kind of messed up? They don't provide safety equipment. I think that's my understanding of how they do it. They don't provide temperature checks. They don't provide paid medical leave. They don't pay more than minimum wage except as a hazard pay, and then they'll bring it back down. Imagine that. That 50 cent and the 50 cents an hour, by the way, with the hours you work, it's going to be about $15 a week. That's enough for what? Like almost one meal in a diner? Do you think they're giving up, the bosses are giving up a meal a week in a diner or in a nice restaurant so that you can get that? They could probably afford 50 of them a week. Some bootlickers are thumbs downing me. No, well, it's not a gig, it's an actual job, a full-time job. Wow, sure, I guess you broke down, you got an interview at Amazon. Kill me now, huh? Well, sure, I guess. First of all, you're in a little bit of luck. Yep, mutual aid and labor unions. God is telling Earth to quit their jobs unless we are happy. That's right. The people don't know their true power. That's right. So sure, I guess. Calm down, man. I'll help you. And tons of debt with a credit card. Yeah, I know. We all got to work. Okay. First of all, look up. I forgot to link to it. I linked it in a few days ago. The Congress of Essential Workers. It's not a labor union. What it is, it's sort of basically a collective that, I don't know if Chris Smalls started it, the guy who got fired at Amazon very famously for trying to unionize there. But he's promoting it. Sign up there, no membership, like you don't got to pay anything. You don't make a profile. You just send in your info, your name, email, phone number, and say 2 ways how you can contribute. Meaning, not money necessarily, but like if you can recruit other people, if you can organize meetings, if you can do social media, which is what I put. And also I put something else, I put other, like I'm a filmmaker. The more people join a group like that, the more power we have to stay connected so that we all know what our power is. So that we can say, oh, there's actually, maybe, I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe it's going to be nothing. I don't know. Maybe it's not a great one, but it's worth a try. You send in your info, and at least, I haven't gotten it, and they said they'll email people, or I guess maybe text them, but I haven't even gotten any emails yet. I'm waiting. And who knows, maybe when enough people join, when enough people are fed up with barely surviving, why the hell are we putting up with this? And then why are we listening to people tell us, oh, why do you want so much money? You want more $15? Oh my goodness, why can't your bosses be able to have a vacation home and then 2 cars at their regular home and then cleaning staff at their home? They might have to go back a little bit. Oh, it makes me sick. Listening to people speak down to us for wanting to be able to live without major struggle all the time while being able to enjoy your life, the only life we have. I'm telling you, I'm God. I did not make an afterlife. There is no afterlife. This is it. Stuff in the Bible, all messed up. And I swear I was dissociating today about some of that stuff. But this is it. We should be able to enjoy our lives and without stressing the fuck out every moment. Oh my goodness, what happens if I say something to my boss, I need more money, and are they going to fire me? Am I not going to be able to pay my rent? Am I going to be sued by my bank? Am I going to go into collections? Am I going to lose my health insurance if you're lucky enough to get health insurance? We shouldn't have to. And here's the thing. The bosses know that. The CEOs absolutely know that. Why do you think they're so vehemently against unions? Because they know they would crap their pants in fear if you decided to shut everything down. They'd have no power to stop you. That's why in the past they've been so violent about shutting down strikes. It's a warehouse job. That's it. Basically, loading boxes, unloading boxes, shipments of stuff. New Supreme Court justice confirmed. Are you talking about me or Amy Coney Barrett, which is a horrible situation? And the Democrats, complete liars and cowards, pretending that they're doing everything they can. Yeah, right. They absolutely could stall this more. They don't want to. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, like, let the record show. History will not look kindly on this. And then they're just letting her walk on through. So anyways, sure, I guess. I'm asking you. Join the Congress of Essential Workers. I got it. I know it's tough, sure, I guess. And I'm kind of lucky where the location I'm in and the job I'll be getting, it's close by. Relatively close by. I mean, could be closer, but no, DJ Rocker Boy, that's the thing. When you're boxed in when you're in office, also that's not for me. Not even a consideration. Thank you. God does not run for office. God reaches out directly to the people and touches them. You have been touched by an Angelo now. All of you are getting this special message. You're hearing it now for the first time, but imagine when it spreads around the world and gets on the news. So join the Congress of Essential Workers. That's the least you can do, a simple thing. Find a tenant union in your area, so at least you have some more power if you're dealing with a landlord and they're not fixing stuff, they're trying to evict you illegally, which many of them do, which, hey, people who support landlords, fine, I grant it, you support landlords, the position makes you feel better. Why aren't you then the first ones to speak against landlords illegally evicting people, giving landlords a bad name, defiling the profession, that's not a job, but of landlord. I mean, it's not a job to collect money for something other people need to live, but why aren't you the first ones to speak out against landlords asking for sexual favors, which is abuse, to tenants who can't pay rent and then still asking for money? Why aren't you demanding an end to landlords who don't fix things that they're required to, that are health hazards to their tenants, and then they intimidate their tenants into giving up on trying to get them fixed, or telling the tenants to pay for it themselves? Why not? If it's just about, oh, landlords are good, then why not want good landlords? You didn't think about that. I'm God. I can figure out everything you're doing. Click like, everyone. Get this message out there. There's no reason anyone should work for minimum wage again. You think this company I'm making, that all they can afford to pay me, if they can afford to pay me 50 cents every 6 months, additionally an hour, and they said only for up to the first 2 years, so I don't know what happens after 2 years. Do they stop giving raises or what? But if they can afford to pay $17 an hour, why don't they start with that? This is obviously a formidable company based on they have multiple locations and a corporate office. You know they're doing all right. And I'm sure during the pandemic, they're able to make even more because of the nature of the fact that they're doing deliveries. I would imagine, I'm guessing, I'm not even completely sure of what they make or what they ship out, that they're getting more online deliveries because people aren't going to stores. So here's the bottom line. 1, join the Congress of Essential Workers. Look it up on DuckDuckGo. Don't use Google. And Google's probably out making technology to help keep track of you to make sure you don't try and unionize and send that information back to your bosses to get you fired. Look up Congress of Essential Workers. Join it. It takes like 2 or 3 minutes. And then, here's the thing. Look up how to form unions. because there's a way to go about it, and then you have to go to the, what is it, UAE, the United Arab Emirates? No, the UE something, United Workers, whatever. And you basically have to get like it legally, legally approved as a union, and then you formally, legally have the power to negotiate with your bosses. And the first step, you get in like ticks. Oh, I feel this fat jello all over my stomach now. Oh, I missed a bunch of comments. This is great. Thank you, people. Yes, tenant union. Join tenant unions. They may very well be in your area. There's certainly plenty around LA, and I've seen them around other cities. I think I follow some in like maybe Seattle. I think I follow one in like a more rural state like Kentucky or something. But they're around. I'm sure they're in big cities. I heard about the Congress of Essential Workers from an NPR interview with Chris Smalls, the Amazon worker who was famously trying to form a union and was fired, also very famously, as in Jay Carney, Obama's former press secretary, put out a statement about him saying, oh, we didn't fire him for organizing a union. We're happy if they're trying to make a union. Go ahead. We fired him because he didn't follow safety procedures when Chris Smalls was trying to get Amazon to provide more safety equipment. And there were emails going around inside Amazon calling him stupid, and they were obviously talking about what to do about him to try and minimize the negative press about it. And also either trying to get him to stop and say, oh, he's happy. They probably wanted to flip him and say, oh, look, he gave up on forming a union. It's because we already treat you better than if you had a union. Why would you even want one? Or ultimately fire him and decide on what their story was going to be. Everyone figure out what the story was going to be. And he's still trying to get, I don't know how he had the nerve to do it at Amazon because they're a huge company. But he also said he doubts the number is only 20,000 Amazon employees infected with the Trump virus. It's probably a lot more. I'm sure it is. But yeah, that's how I heard about Congress of Essential Workers. It may not turn out to be anything helpful. I don't know. I haven't gotten any emails from them, but why not at least send out that message, to like, hey, I'm another person adding myself to the ranks. That's what I need, my comrades. And imagine if 100,000 people joined it. I don't know how many people are in it now. Could be that much, maybe. I don't know. Or imagine if 10 million were in it. 20 million. That sends a powerful message. All of a sudden, we can organize so much better. Nothing's perfect. I'm sure there are a lot of unions are really racist, by the way. They're there to protect the white workers, not the black and brown ones. So, that's another problem you have to deal with. So I'm not saying it just solves everything. But something must be done. So this is one step that I know of that anybody can do. But next step as far as your workplace, this is why I'm saying, well, I'm not going to demand up front any extra money or whatever. I need a job right away. That much is true. Once I'm in there, I want to see what it's like. I want to see, what I can do, how well I can get to know my coworkers, what their concerns are, and see if they think unionizing is a good idea. See if and it takes time. That's something I learned good from a guy who probably hates unions, Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. He's turned out to be a total right-wing chud who doesn't believe in the Trump virus, and he's a big Trump fan. He doesn't care about it. He's like, yeah, everybody needs to go to work. It's going to be worse if people don't work. It doesn't say anything about protecting workers, paying them well, nothing. So click like, everyone, to protect workers. Click like to get this message out there, because YouTube's algorithm favors the video and shares it when... I need a union of people who click like on my videos. It gets YouTube to share the video because its algorithm favors content with more engagement. So, the next step is try and get to work. I imagine there's a good chance I'll get this job. It seems like they're not even really going to do an interview. It's really just more like a tour and to see if I'm able-bodied and of sound mind, which I can hide the lack of sound mind part. No. But I think it's, it's partly that. It's like they need someone who's willing to work, certain hours, early hours in the day. That's fine with me. I would enjoy getting up even earlier. I don't know if I'll be working out as much, because if I'm lifting boxes for like 8 hours a day, maybe I'll be too tired to work out. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing, or at least I could do my ab workout, because I still want to do my crunches. But the next step is, when you're working with people, you don't do it right away. It takes time to get people to get used to an idea and to like it, and some won't go for it. And you have to sense that right away. Who can, whose trust do you command and whose you don't. You don't. So the next step is talk to people, find out if they're interested. Say, like, just find. Don't even push them towards it. You can't. Just talk to them about, man, like, real conversations. That's all. It's not leading conversations. It's like, oh man, I'm having trouble. Like, I can't even get a home with this. That'd be funny to spring on them at the 6-month raise, 50 cents an hour. I'd say, look, I can't even afford a home on this. I've been homeless for 6 months, because I'm not just going to tell them that if I don't really have to. And try and get them to understand, look, I can't even afford anything, so give me a bigger raise. But talk to your coworkers, find out what their concerns are, and also, see who's willing to formally join a union, and then make sure they understand that the company's going to come down against it, and they have to understand the consequences of that. That's why it's important everyone be united. But I would imagine, just ask things like, how do you like it here? How long you been here? I'd say, yeah, I like it. It's fine. I mean, I can't afford enough to live more than the minimum. I'm still living in my car, and I can't even get, really nice food to eat, because that's expensive. I can't eat out much, so I gotta get by at the food bank and dollar stores, and find out more, find out about them, what kind of bills are they paying, all that stuff. You don't ask them what bills they're paying, but you know what I mean. It's it takes time. I can't really do it here because it's too quick, this interaction. And it helps more just to have another person I would be asking, and to go through it at work. And I imagine I won't even have a lot of time to ask stuff, because we're going to be busy for most of our shift. But I'd want to see and make sure I'm useful and helpful at work. Veganism, I'd like to be a vegan. I'm just kind of lazy about it. But I think vegan's a good idea generally. If you have power, you can change things little by little. You are vocal and very passionate about certain issues. You'll do fine in office? No, I wouldn't, but thank you. You want good land? That too. Tenants union. Nothing to use, that's right. Nothing to lose but your chains. Pay $200 a month to the landlord. Yeah, there's some places in the country you can get deals like that, but most people do not. Thank you. Sure, I guess. We've got another member of the Congress of Essential Workers. And if they ask where you got the referral, I don't know if they even ask that. They might. You can tell them I sent you. You can write a letter of recommendation of fourth density? What the hell is that? Rent strike? Well, I figure you're already in the union. Well, that's right, Sure I Guess. Sure I Guess says, as soon as you piss off your bosses sufficiently, it doesn't matter what you do, they will fire you for something as soon as they have enough documentation. That's very true. That's why you don't just bring it up to your bosses. That's why you talk to your coworkers first and figure out if you have enough support. You figure out a plan. If you do, then see what people are willing to do as far as, telling the bosses, you got to do this, we have our demands. That what makes it, first of all, harder to fire everyone. I'm not saying just say you're going to quit and strike. That's a hard decision to make. I wish people would do it more, but I understand it's a hard thing to do. At my last job, I would absolutely never talk about this with anyone because everyone liked the owner. I liked the owner too, but I realized after a while it just wasn't right how things were operating. I wasn't getting any more pay in 5 years. I didn't like how the servers had to work for tips. I'm like, certain people don't tip. Most people, I think, tip all right, but The servers are having to live off this. Just pay them well, and don't accept tips or don't ask for tips. Don't make it clear we're not asking for tips. I've heard of restaurants that do that. They'll say we pay our workers $17 an hour. You're not required to tip as a result. Why rely on the customer to pay your employees' wages? I really didn't like that after a while. I couldn't tolerate it. So even though, yeah, some nights it can be really good for the servers and bartenders, but I knew there was no way anyone, and plus the boss was in there all the time. That's the thing. It was a small business. If it was one of the other chain bars that I worked at, it might have been a better idea because nobody gave a shit. Like even the manager would have probably been like, oh yeah, it seems like a good idea, I bet. Because the managers there weren't like all into it. The owner, ran the place for a long time. It was her business, so. And really, it was better than a lot of places I could have been. I mean, I was paid $15 an hour there, and I didn't have to clock in. There were no quarterly meetings, no reviews, no human resource department to deal with. But that's true. That's why you talk to everybody. Yes, I'm unemployed still, but unite the 99%. That's right. Potatoes, please. You can let me know why vote Trump, because this is a disaster. I don't understand what's good about any of this. 800,000 people a month or so filing unemployment. He's blatantly a bully in not only personally, but how he runs the country. He clearly favors white people, and only to the extent that anyone else is useful to him, he'll have them near him. He's nepotistic. He has his family around him doing his business. All kinds of horrible things. So let me, if you can give a good reason why support him, but it seems like a terrible idea. The first paycheck, how about that first paycheck dinner? Nah, I'm not going to get anything. I got to lose weight. I can feel it, the fat stretching against my stomach now. That's right, Angelo, the shredded god. I got to get shredded first. At least not fast food, that's true. Relationships are fundamental in revolution. Viva la revolución. Man, my Spanish is terrible sometimes. Viva la revolución. Viva la revolución. Plus, God fought the devil there. The devil's not such a bad guy, and actually, I didn't really make the first place. He's just a guy who's been around for a while. We don't bother him. Yep, God will help the president. So. Oh man, I've been dissociating somewhat today. It's really annoying because I feel like I'm getting better in so many ways. Also, I did get this nice hat today. I lost my old hat. I left it at the park and I came back and it was gone a couple hours later, but that's all right. I like this hat better because it's got this thing to cover the back of my neck. That's why I always had my hoodie up when I'm out and it was annoying. Now, this doesn't cover the sides of my face, and I still like to have the sides of my face protected from the sun, but still, this is really nice to have. Nice feature. They had those giant sombreros at this one dollar store I went to, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to get one of those. I want a hat that's flexible, that I can like fold up like this and just toss down. Those things, you could snap them and break them. Yeah, that's right. I will be associate dissociate if I get a job with the title associate in it. And man, did you see my video showering this morning? The wind was blowing so hard. It's been blowing hard all day. I could barely concentrate at the park while I was trying to read and write, so I just got up and walked around for a while, and then I got that phone call about the job, and that took a little while, and I had to call the office in DC to get my birth certificate. It cost me $60, which was a huge expense for me. I'm like, oh fuck, man, but I needed to apply for jobs anyways, so. I have to do some business. Yeah, I know. There was a fire that broke out around Orange County that spread like 2,000 acres in a couple hours today. Fire risk, not really in this area. It can come close, but it's not going to, I doubt it. I mean, I suppose it's always possible, but travel across the streets. I've seen it travel across roads. I don't know how it does that. But that's the plan, and it is the best I can do, because unfortunately right now I really do need a job. I would love to be pulled out and negotiate for that one job that's going to pay me $17 an hour to start, but at least $16 an hour is good to start, and I'm hoping they do it long enough and they don't try and screw me, but how much can you really hope for that? And bring it back to 15 that I can say at that point, like, I have enough money, live in my car, I don't pay rent, so I can just be like, I can make them the offer right then, like, look, my expenses are still just as high as ever. I can't afford a home. I've been homeless the whole time I've been working here. I think basic dignity on your part would be to give me mine and let me keep my pay, $16 an hour. So we'll see, and I'm sure it's hard work, and I'll do it. And I'll be glad to be doing physical work in a way, just to get moving. It helps me. I move a lot during the day anyways, but it helps me with my disorder, I think, and certainly it'll help to my workouts and lose weight. I would never upgrade my car. It's good the way it is. I mean, I want to get an oil change, if that's an upgrade. But I don't know about the credit card. I got to also call my bank. They have a financial hardship program where they'll reduce payments and maybe even lower the total balance. But they only do it if you have a job. So how weird is that? If you don't have a job, they won't do it. That's when you need the help the most. But I've called them several times to try, in different times, and each time they say the same thing. So I'm going to try and see if my bank will give me a reduction in payments or something and lower the interest charges, because they've charged me almost $2,000 in interest since the shutdown about 7 months ago, and I have not charged anything on my credit card. It's like $2,000 over the limit now. So I'm almost like, I could just not pay it and walk away. I'm not trying to do that, but if they're going to be that greedy with me, when they know I can't pay, yet they're charging interest anyways, I'm hoping they'll work with me on that. If not, I mean, maybe maybe the best thing to do is just pay it, but I'll see. It'll be a lot of money to pay it off. On the other hand, maybe the best thing to do is to file for bankruptcy. So I'll see. Yeah, it messes up your credit. My credit is doing nothing to help me. You understand? Nothing. There's nothing I'm applying for. I bought my car in cash. Whenever I buy my next car, it'll be in cash too. I'm not trying to get a car financed. If I ever rent a room, I'll do it from somewhere that doesn't do a credit check. So just like rent a room, not an apartment. Although if I rented an apartment, they'd probably do it, but they'll probably want first month's rent, last month's rent, first month's lentils, and what am I thinking? And the deposit, or 2 deposits or something. Yes, Alejandro, that's right. Click like. 10-story mansion. You can still get a mansion if you file bankruptcy. You just got to get rich. Then that doesn't matter. Break the loop. Well, you're right. That's true, actually. The bank can't do anything. They can't really do anything much. I suppose if you have rent is a bunch of lentils, yeah, and legumes. I suppose if you owe enough and if you make enough money, they might be able to sue you. But I mean, there's nothing they could sue me for. They would lose their. They would not. It would not even be worth it for them to try. Oh, ignored the court summons. Wow. Interesting. Well, thank you for the advice, Break the Loop. I will definitely keep that in mind, because I don't want to have to pay a bankruptcy lawyer. But anyways, back to the point of the video. The bad news was I have a job interview with a place that doesn't seem to really respect workers or pay them very much. Doesn't provide medical leave, Trump virus tests. I'm not sure if they provide safety equipment or what their safety procedures are for that. I got to go in and ask. They, I imagine, don't pay paid vacation leave. The guy who called me asked me, do you have any plans for the next 3 months as far as time off or commitments? So they don't want the minimum. They want 3 months to know ahead of time I can work and have Saturdays available. It's Monday through Friday and Saturdays possibly. And yet, they want to pay the bare minimum that's legal, $15 an hour, and they're adding $1 for the Trump virus, which they will stop paying when they can. They won't necessarily even wait until the Trump virus is gone because they might just say, "Well, we're all used to it. It's all over the place, and it's just something you got a fact of life. You got to live with it now." So I don't want to ever lose that dollar. And I'd want to make sure that my coworkers and I are aware of the possibility of unionizing and how much it could benefit us. But it depends who they are. I mean, if they're a bunch of people who've been with the company a long time and are happy with it, I don't know. But they could be with the company a long time and struggling badly and know that a union could really change things for them. And who knows what could happen after that, how great it could be. That sounds like a Trump answer. Who knows what could happen? The advertisements to put a sticker on your car and pay real? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've applied for them before and ultimately wasn't interested. And they have things that, like GPS monitoring to check how far you're driving each day. I think they're real, and I've occasionally seen cars with that, I think, from my memory. Probably got some fake emails about it too, but I've heard it's real. Yep, fear-based work, 90% of jobs. Yeah, that's true. Break the loop. Yeah, medical or student debt. Yeah, you cannot discharge that. That filing bankruptcy doesn't get rid of that. But credit card, yeah, that's true. I know other states are so much less expensive, but I love it here. I want to be here. I want to work on film here. There's a lot of great things here, and I like the events, the people, even though I can't be involved in a lot of that since the shutdown. We'll break the loop. I think you're generally right on. Of course, every story might be different, but I'm not really panicking about the credit cards because it's really not important at all. And I'm going to buy food and get gas before I pay my credit card. So I'm going to count on my bank working with me on that. I mean, I would like to have a credit card. It would be good to have it. It certainly would help in an emergency if I needed it, but right, that's the other thing. That's right, break the loop. So here's the other thing. Break the loop says, not to mention that the credit card companies are going to get huge numbers of people defaulting on their credit cards in the next few years. They won't go have the logistics to go after everyone. They probably won't even have enough lawyers to go after everybody. That's right. That happened on a smaller level with landlords in Los Angeles, which is as soon as the pandemic came and people lost their jobs, they didn't wait until they lost all their money, which is a lot of them don't have money for another month's rent. A lot of people, as soon as the pandemic came, packed their stuff, left town, didn't tell their landlords. What are the landlords going to do? Go find everyone, sue them? It's not worth it. And how are you going to find some people? Find a private investigator? What are you going to do? Set up Google alerts for, if this person gets in the news? Are you going to call them and hope they just give you their new address so they can serve you in court? It's going to be ridiculous. Yeah, you can get money back, but here's the problem. I would get like 2% back or 3% back on gas or groceries on my credit card, and yet the interest it charges is just massive compared to that. So the cash back was basically a little bait and switch. Oh man, my allergies are acting up. My nose is getting stuffed up. Well, fingers crossed it's not but it always seems to happen at night around here. and there's a lot of dust in the air. I can see it all over my car. So I'm encouraging people. This is legitimate. This is not just a joke. Find a loan shark. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's horrible. Ronnie Fernandez. Oh, she's been sworn in, and Democrats are such putrid, the leadership, such putrid little cowards. They're pretending they resisted and fought it. They rolled out the red carpet and just said, "Well, tread slowly on it." Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, total cowards. They absolutely had the power to do more things like filibuster and refuse to show up and not give quorum. They wouldn't do it because they ultimately are beholden to Republicans. They want to give the Republican agenda. They'll be fine with the Republican agenda. They just know it's important to get more voters, to give the appearance of opposing them. Well, that's interesting. Break the loop. That's good to know. And yeah, maybe go on credit card strike too. But I encourage people out there, don't wait around. And it's something I didn't think about when I was younger. And of course, I had bills to pay too then, so I wasn't really trying to do that, even if it was just my car payment. But don't wait around for a company that doesn't care about you, thinking that maybe one day I'll get rich, maybe one day I'll get something else going, I'll make that movie, I'll start a business, I'll do something else and things will get better, and then I'll save up and I'll save and I'll save. It's stacked against you when you do that. So many things can happen. Your body is not perfect. You can get sick. You can get injured. Your car can get destroyed or damaged. Your home can get damaged. Things get more expensive with time. Rent gets more expensive. Groceries, gas, everything. I know. Well, I know. I'm criticizing the Democrats, but the Republicans were complete craven. Uh, blood. I don't know how to describe it. To call them like vampires would not do it justice. They are complete psychopaths. I mean, they just want power. That's it. They're completely going against their own words from 2012 or 16 was it? I can't remember. But including Lindsey Graham, who said, "Use my words against me," and he's totally not caring about that, disregarding that. Right, break the loop. Yeah, I mean, you could say, "Oh, it's one thing you agree with them," which I still think is what's the word I'm trying to think of? Oh, my nose is totally stuffed now. Heinous, which is still low and abominable. But yeah, you can see that Republicans are cowards, and not just cowards, total hypocrites, just cravenly desiring power, desirous of power. Where's my? I have this nasal stuff, the Boom Boom spray. I can't remember where I put it. Tea tree oil. But you bet, an employer, they don't like you, they'll find any reason to fire you. It's like a cop. If they think your vehicle's like matches the description of a suspect put out, they'll pull you over for going 3 miles an hour over the speed limit and then run to see it like, "Oh, you're the serial killer," Stop there. For real, that happened with the serial killer. They figured out what car he was using to travel around the country, and he was using his victims' ATM cards or debit cards to go to ATMs and withdraw their money, so they could never pin down like who the person was who did it. And then eventually they caught on that the guy was going on these business trips and then using the rental cars, and they didn't see his face, but they saw a rental car he was using, and then and maybe the license or I don't know, the type of license plate on it, like the state on the license plate. Because rental car companies, they have rental cars with plates from all registered in all different states because I guess it saves money on taxes. I don't know. It's called Boom Boom Spray. It smells good and helps clear up sinuses. Clears up sinuses. I just don't know where I put it. Oh, been listening to conservatives? I listen to them a lot. A little less so now, but I still listen to them pretty good bit. And after a while, it's just a little bit, makes me feel sick. Hearing this cruelty, this just lust to destroy and cause pain and to belittle others that they have. Like, it's getting more and more naked. It's like less dressed up. I remember where I put it. It's in my trunk. Okay, I can't find it. But you know what? My nose is better once I got out of the car. Thank you, Alejandro. Click like for the truth. That's what you're getting here. Crab fisherman? Hell no. Well, actually, I have thought about it only in the sense that I thought how miserable it would be and like how badly it would test me. I mean, apparently they really work like 48 hours straight or something. It's really nuts how they do it. That's true, yeah. It does pay well for the whole year if you get a good catch. You know, who knows who's going to win? I don't know. Oh, I'm still going to be making videos even if I get this warehouse job. I got to look through again. I know this boom boom is in my car somewhere. Found it. Now, here's the stuff. It says boom boom on it. It looks like mood mood. But, wow, it smells sweet. And it kind of, it's like peppermint shot up your nose. It's called cinnamon. Awaken your senses. I'm going to order some more of this stuff. Now I'm reinvigorated. Comrades, I'm very serious about this. Don't let your life get pissed away by companies that don't care about you. Looking back, it would have made perfect sense for me to try and talk to my coworkers and at least see if they would join a union. I probably couldn't have gotten them to do it. I also didn't really have the maturity to really think how to do it, how to convince them, how to pull it off, to understand. I wouldn't have even wanted to at the time. I must admit, I was a bootlicker at the time, thinking, well, I'll just get rich someday. But don't wait. Talk to your coworkers. Make sure you trust them, and just find out. Don't ask leading questions. Just get conversation started. So, after a few weeks or days, at least they're very comfortable. They're like, oh yeah, what's the latest thing going on with, oh, we got a problem with work. They're not upgrading this thing that needs to be fixed, so we can't do our jobs well, and they're expecting us to work around it. Or I can't pay our bills, I'm barely getting by, I think my check's short, whatever the case. Figure that stuff out and then say, okay, well, are we willing to do something? Are we willing to collectively bargain? And that's the point at which you start figuring out. And there's a website. It's like the UE, whatever. Uh, I don't know what it is, United Employers or something. But basically, at some point, it has to be a legal organization. So you would collect signatures and go about that. And there's a way I should have linked to it too. But if you look up on DuckDuckGo how to form a union or how to unionize with your coworkers, you'll find it as like the second or third thing under WikiHow how to do it, which maybe that has accurate info too. I don't know. But get your boom boom loaded up and get ready to go. Boom boom is like, it's a nice smelling like air, like in a nasal spray. It's not really a spray, you just smell it. But you kind of snort it really, but it smells good. I learned it from Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, because he said it's a way of like connecting yourself to a strong emotional feeling of success after like you complete a good sale. You sniff it then, and he said you'll come to associate it with that powerful feeling. So after a while, start sniffing it before the sale to get your mind automatically connecting to that emotion of power and satisfaction. And he said after a while you won't even need the boom boom. However, the stuff exists. He didn't make it. The stuff is it's supposed to sort of help clear up sinuses as well, only temporarily. And my nose is stuffed up, so why not? And I've had some for years sitting in my car. That's true, break the loop, and I don't know how many details I'll be able to give about the job while I'm working there, but that is definitely true. I agree with that. I'm fascinated by people's jobs too. Right, that's exactly, yeah, sure, I guess that is a sales technique called anchoring, basically. But as for workers, you should talk to your coworkers, especially if you work for a big corporation. You have nothing to lose. In a way, yes, like you could. Don't come back at me saying, "Oh, I got fired because you." Well, what I mean by you have nothing to lose is they're not emotionally connected to you. Even if you like your bosses, you're all there in the same crap, trying to get by, trying to make the money go as far as it will, never being able to save up properly, never being able to really enjoy your life, overworked, overstressed, trying to hide the fact that you're sick and still go into work. It doesn't have to be like that. It by no means has to be like that. And a good union can make sure that you get paid well, that you get medical coverage, that you get vacation time, you get proper lunch breaks, you get paid overtime, you get proper safety equipment, whether it's related to the Trump virus or not. So look into it. I'm serious. People should be doing this. Imagine if across the country, because people tend to not like unions, the idea of them. They hate them. They say, oh, I like my boss. I want to be rich. I don't want to be like some a union member who just wants free stuff. That was exactly my attitude for many years until recently. Until realizing that, oh, I'm getting older, but nothing's changing as much as I'm working. As much as I'm doing these different jobs, which I haven't had a ton of jobs, but each company, you're kind of dealing with the same crap at each one, and the fact that it's rigidly structured so as to keep you from asking for more money. And I'm saying we don't have to put up with it. Actually, we have all the power, and they will quickly come begging. I read a story about that. Somebody who got all their coworkers to quit, and what did I say the first time? To quit, and it was like the not just the general manager, but like the regional manager. Regional managers were like coming in from like across the state later that day to beg them to go back into work. Well, that's what you have to do. Unfortunately, they aren't ethical, and they don't just do it when they know they should without pressure. You have to pressure them and say, uh-huh, oh, now you get it. Now you want to do it. Why didn't you do it before? You don't believe in it? So why are you doing it now? You still don't believe in it, right? It's because they know they need you to work there, or their company will be shut down so fast and they'll lose their jobs too. Barbara Ehrenreich. Yeah, I used to hate her when I was younger because I believed that bootlicking white supremacist propaganda about workers being troublemakers. But I'm sure she's written interesting stories. Or, yeah, that's right. Interesting stories. I don't know if it was one story. Am I a fan of anime or manga? I'd like to be more into it. Obviously, I'm not really in a position to watch much since I don't have a home. I definitely was very into the Miyazaki movies when I had a DVD player. And when I was younger, like a lot of people in my generation, I guess, we started getting into anime from the Sci-Fi Channel. They would run animes like Saturday morning, like what's his name, D the Vampire Hunter, or D the Vampire Hunter. That was interesting, and Venus Wars, and I can't remember. Oh, I remember rented this when I was a kid. Geist. That was interesting because it was hyper violent. Like literally, there was a mech, and my dad rented it and saw it with me on VHS. But I remember there was a mech in that movie. It was kind of interesting to see, and I'm glad my dad let me watch it because it was really violent. Like a mech like crushed a guy's skull in his hand, and like the blood and eyeballs and everything came out. And I was just sitting there watching it with my dad. Oh, my nose is getting stuffed again. Well, that's good to know. At least it's in the car. It's not the Trump virus, I don't think. But also, I'd be interested in reading comics. And actually, I always wanted to read them when I was at the library, but I was always so busy. I used to go to the library every day, and they have a big comic section. I would very much like to. I'm interested in the idea. I tried reading 2 or 3 when I was young. It never held my interest. I did read The Crow, and I'd be interested in it. I just don't have the money and time right now, but it'd be good to make the time to do it. But I never really watched a series. I was fascinated by what little I saw of Cowboy Bebop, and it was so evocative, and I can see why people are so into it. It's such imagination. I just could never make the time to watch a whole series. But I loved being up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and seeing that come on and wanting to just be in this world that's so different. Death Note, I've heard a lot about. Don't really know it. I've never seen Psycho-Pass. I don't think I've heard of it. Vampire Hunter D. Okay, I messed up the name totally. I could never get into Dragon Ball Z. That seemed like the dumbest shit when I was a teenager. Solo leveling online? Okay, cool. Good to know. Hello, Jean or Jean. Well, definitely. I mean, I have my steel-toed boots. I don't know if I'll want to wear those. They said they're not required, but definitely the shoes I have now, I'm not sure that they're great for a lot of manual labor. They'll probably tear up soon. Inuyasha, oh, I thought you were going to say, like, what's Paprika? That's an anime. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop is very interesting and evocative. Carl Sagan is great. I finished The Demon Haunted World. He basically makes the case for not this, people have an idea of scientists and atheists as like Richard Dawkins, like very harsh and negative about religion and wanting to eradicate it. And Carl Sagan, he didn't seem like really a friend of religion, but he said basically science is inexact. You're always within certain boundaries of understanding something, and our minds cannot fully access all the information out there. But he shows like example after example of superstitions and myths that wasted time, that wasted lives, that ruined lives, that enriched con artists and maybe people who even believed in their own powers and took money from the poor, and how the government and politicians and popular opinion is totally against science. And it's funny, he was saying this stuff 25 years ago that still applies today. He said, how often on TV, like we have all these shows about mad scientists and scientists who are egomaniacs and evil and misanthropes, but he said, how often on TV do we see discussions about science? How often do we see on Sunday mornings these talk shows of middle-aged white people, these dreary shows, he said, of middle-aged white people pretending or just agreeing with each other? And he said, when's the last time a United States president made an intelligent comment about science? I'm like, wow, that was a long time ago, and it still holds up. Granted, Obama probably spoke better about it, but he still, okay, he said, yeah, he spoke about global warming and climate change, and yet what did he do? He brags about how he expanded oil drilling and oil production, accelerating climate change. He sent federal law enforcement or troops or whatever to what was it, Standing Rock, to beat down and arrest the protesters there. So at least he could speak about it, but he wasn't really willing to do much about it and do the opposite. So Carl Sagan, yeah, good. And you can watch a lot of his talks online. You can watch Cosmos online. It's amazing. It's fascinating. He was an interesting guy to listen to, and he just knew a lot. But he kept it sort of modest in a way, in that he's saying, just picking out example by example. He doesn't have to demolish anything. He just goes, well, here's one claim of miracles, recently, of sightings of, Mary or something in Lourdes, France, and supposed healings of people who go there and get the water from there. He's like, okay, well, let's look at that. And it turns out the rate of healings that happen there is less than what would happen by chance, of random remissions of diseases, and they can't be verified. And they're always things that are perfectly able to go away on their own. They're never things like amputees growing their limbs back. So he's just very good about that. And yes, science is being suppressed. Yep, Carl Sagan's really good. Sam Harris is good on religion. I think he's a religious bigot, though, and he's become very much a conservative, racist. Gantz. I'm not going to remember all this stuff, all these anime recommendations, but someday I'd like to go through them. But yes, science is being suppressed. And worse than that, it just gets people to follow. It's one thing, okay, they're not into science, but they don't just leave it alone. Then they say science is wrong, science is a field dominated by elites who hate us, who have contempt for us, who think they're better than us and actually don't know anything. And they're against our religion, they want to take our guns, they want to change our way of life. They don't have to live with the problems we do. And so as a result, people buy into their own chauvinism, basically, and their own chauvinistic tendencies. And of course, they'll gravitate towards someone like Trump, who completely satisfies that urge by saying, I don't give a fuck about anyone, I don't give a shit, I just want to hurt people, I want to fuck with them, and I like hurting liberals and leftists and black people and poor people because I'm tired of being told not to, basically. That's it. Just cruelty. Yeah, I don't buy into that thing. Liberals want to suppress biology. Well, first of all, a lot of liberals, they're against, they're more conservative than they let on. But no, that's a lot of nonsense too. I know what that dog whistle is for, the biology thing. If you think it's acceptable, how many transgender people are thrown out by their parents, abused by them, put into conversion therapy, tortured, they're sexually abused, the crimes against them aren't prosecuted. There's such a thing called a transpanic defense, where you can basically claim temporary insanity if you kill a transgender person because you were temporarily enraged that you found out they were transgender. The amount of transgender people who can't get government documents, can't get jobs, can't get housing, who get killed, and it's their identity is viewed as sick and disordered. That's the suppression of science, to teach that stuff. And by the way, the people who agreed with that first, the Nazis. The Nazis burned so much scientific literature when they started their book burnings on whole studies of transgender existence. So there you go. You've closed ranks with the Nazis when you say, I'm against the liberal biology. And I won't have it on this channel. Oh, thanks. Sure, I guess you saw the Annandale video yesterday. Yes, the big one. That's the video that destroyed Annandale. Destroyed that whole city. Actually, it got their website shut down for a while because their website couldn't handle the traffic. You look up Annandale's website, it looks like somebody made their own website in '96 with a free website editor like GeoCities or something. It's apparently out of date. Someone looked it up and said the webmaster died or something. And on Reddit, I was following everything they were posting on there. They said, oh, we hugged it too hard, and the website went down when everybody was visiting it the day my video blew up. So click like, everyone. We need workers to be united. We really do. Imagine we could shut down this country, change it in a day or two. All of a sudden, oh, the Democrats and Republicans, they'd couch it in a way to say, like, yes, we were actually right all along. This is what we wanted. Even Republicans, they will turn around and say, oh, yes, we actually wanted people to get $30 an hour. We were fighting the Democrats for years to try and get paid medical leave and parental leave, child care. But the Democrats, with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, wanted to make this a big game. They don't want the American people to get their proper pay and have union protections. Blame the Democrats. I don't want this game being played anymore. It's time we stood up for our workers. Democratic socialism. That's the Republicans. Mitch McConnell would totally fucking come around on that. Or he'd just leave. And I'm sure it would be a tough situation, like a showdown, but he he would completely cave and say, yep, this is what I wanted all along. And he would, sure enough, they would always try and find ways to undermine it in the future. But we easily could. Just people don't know, and they're understandably cautious about it because nobody wants to be singled out and harassed by their employer, and nobody wants to be fired, especially when they have medical issues they need to pay for, kids, a home. They don't want to be out on the street. They don't want to have to live like me. I understand that's hard for a lot of people. I don't expect people to do that. Oh, no, Annandale is not like the rest of Virginia. No, not at all. Virginia, I'd say overall sucks. It's crappy, but there are at least nicer places than that. There's, some entertainment around. There's little entertainment venues. There's a lot of theaters, a lot of stage theaters, musical theaters. Signature Theater, which wins a bunch of Tony Awards. That's in Arlington, in the Shirlington neighborhood, which is basically like its own little mini city of rich people in Arlington. It's literally like this closed off little island, even though it's connected, it's by land, but it's like this little closed off island in Arlington of nice theaters and Harris Teeter and nice restaurants. And they got their own library there. Even though Arlington has a library, they got a second library there. And Signature Theater, where the shows are like $80 a ticket, but the shows are amazing there. I did go to Les Miserables there once, but I went free because I was a stagehand, or I was an usher. I wasn't a stagehand, and that was fun to go to. I enjoy live shows, and a lot of Virginia is just suburbs, especially Northern Virginia. And then beyond that, it's just plains and farmland and some mountains. It is really not much. Yeah, Virginia. Oh, so Virginia does have 2 or 3 of the richest counties in the country. Number one, the richest county in the country is Loudoun County, Virginia. Second richest is Falls Church, I believe. And third might be Fairfax. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, Arlington is a lot of yuppies and rich people living there. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, Simon. Would I rather be a rapper or a video game developer? I don't know. I kind of think rapper, but my voice is getting tired already just talking, so I couldn't rap very much. I've never been to Virginia Beach. That's way south of where I was, like 200 miles south or so. And there's Richmond, which I've never really been in. I've just driven through, and it just seems like it's all rotting. Yeah, Loudoun's got really big houses. I used to shoot real estate videos all around. There are some $1 million houses that are massive there, but here's the thing: you're just living there to live there. Like, and a lot of those nice houses, they're on tiny little roads. There's one road, like one lane in, one lane out, little country roads, and it's just lonely. And I wouldn't want to live there. You can't walk around anywhere. You have to drive out into a big city highway just to get groceries. And you just live there because you like it. Where at least here, like, you live here, but you have all this stuff around you. That's incredible. Oh, easy question. Break the loop. Living in my car is better in LA than having a house in Annandale was. I rented a room there, and I hated. I'm not kidding. I hated every minute of it. I hated every day of it. I was miserable and depressed the whole time I was there. I'm so glad to be gone. It wouldn't ever be something I want to do again. Even I say I hated it, but we had a lot of good times or something. We were just kind of broke and getting by, me and the guys I lived with. No, I hated it. I despised it. I nearly got in a fight with one of my roommates. I nearly got, I was in arguments with other roommates, with subletters who were breaking stuff and making noise and slamming doors and telling us not to walk around, and bringing in their babies with diapers, leaving them on the ground, and women's underwear, if you saw in the video about my house, and not flushing the toilet after taking a shit and using all the toilet paper. It was really crappy. I hated it. And it was so depressing because there was like no entertainment there. You don't see anyone out there walking for fun. It was so unpleasant to walk around in, kind of unsafe. The traffic patterns are always bad to walk in. Somebody stole $1,000 out of the ATM, out of my bank account at the ATM once. The bank put it back, but it is just so miserable. No entertainment. A nicer area, you go 4 miles west on 236. You go to one Fair City Mall, but even that gets a little boring after a while. But you go to Old Town Fairfax. At least it's a nice little area to walk around in. You got to have some money to enjoy it. But the thing about Old Town Fairfax, what was I going to say about it? Oh, when I would go there, I was so depressed about going back to Annandale. It was so depressing. Anytime I would leave Annandale, and you see how the roads and the houses change as you're driving back, and you're just shrinking, like getting more and more miserable, like those Rage comics or something, like rotting, just rotting as I'm driving back to Annandale. Hey, Joshua. Wow, dropped 12,000 in population? Well, it sucks. Of course people leave there. Yes, do what Alejandro says. Click the like button. Oh, you were smart, Color Sock. I'm telling you, smart people do not live in Annandale. That doesn't mean everyone there is a bad person or anything. What it means is I wasn't smart when I was living there. Once you leave, you're smart. Okay? It just takes time. That's all. And look, why did I move there? I needed a place. I wanted to get away from that Baptist pastor who wanted to have sex with me. And it was a cheap place that I found. It worked out in the end. Hey, I had a world award-winning video that completely destroyed that city and destroyed my landlord. And she has to live with it because she gave me all that. All those problems in the video, she gave it to me. So she should be thanking me. It has good Korean food. I never ate it. Well, I ate it twice, but I could never afford it. And I certainly couldn't afford it while I was there. Have I talked to Joseph? Who's Joseph? But yeah, Annandale is a shithole. So everyone, join the Congress of Essential Workers. It's really important that we, housing prices are still high in Annandale anyways. That's right, sure, I guess. And she texted me her excuse for not fixing that too. Once she saw the video, she was so fucking mad. She wanted to come over that night with her husband to yell at me. I should have let her and just filmed it, but I didn't have the presence of mind to do that. Anyways, believe in revenge? No, I just think you do what you need to. Do what's right, because revenge won't really work. And I wasn't trying to get revenge so much in that video. I was living a lie by pretending my landlord was being cool with me, and it's like I had to let out the truth. That's why I put my whole address in the video. It's like I had to say this. Exactly right. It would be great if I managed to get her charges against her, and I could have had her arrested probably just for coming to the house without giving proper notice, because she can't come there at any time she wants just because she's a landlord. She's supposed to give 24 hours notice. It was a public service announcement. I hope it's hard for her to rent a place every time she gets someone there. Springfield, oh, that's right. Okay, so Springfield, a little better than Annandale. Crappy to drive in. Miserable shopping centers. Little better. That's all I'll say about it. Occasionally I would go to the Dollar Tree there, or I would go to like a Staples or Kinko's or something. I think they had a Kmart there too. I went to. That was just horrible to go. Yeah, the community college in Annandale is nice. I actually worked on my first show there. I worked on a production of The Producers. I was a stagehand. It was a good experience. It was really nice. 2008. It was the first show I ever worked on. It was a really nice experience to do that. It was good for me because it was coming out of my second major bout of my dissociative disorder. And it was nice to be able to like have a regular experience and meet people and do things I enjoyed. Thank you, Rent Strike. Yeah. People all over, I understand why they should make videos like that about their landlords. But obviously I understand why. It was scary for me not to. Yeah, I know. She was an asshole. She was a bully. She has 2 luxury cars in her driveway and a beautiful home that I was inside of before. And yet she doesn't even want to fix the doorknob excuse me. Oh boy. or fix appliances. She had to be talked into fixing a washing machine that a subletter broke, and the subletter's not on the lease. So in other words, someone can come in there, break the lease, and it just fuck us. Like, we have to deal with it on our own. I think she ended up getting her husband to come over and fix it or something rather than pay someone. But she didn't give a shit. Wow, my voice is getting worn out. What do I do? What do I do for my voice? I don't have cough drops, I don't think. Yep, rich people find it hard to pay for things. That's right. And that is true, Joshua. I destroyed that city. It's the first thing that comes up when you search Annandale on YouTube. I'm going to see if I have cough drops in my trunk. All right, back to Narnia I go. I do have cough drops. I got this from the dollar store. I know that. I've never opened it. Best Health Menthol Cough Suppressant Oral Anesthetic. Menthol Antitusivo Anestésico Bucal. I don't even know if that's Spanish. That's right. Yeah, that's the thing. I have power now that I don't rent a room. So if my boss mistreats me... Oh, Brian, you did the Red Stripe video with me. Cool. Hey, Brian, I'm talking about unionizing with my coworkers if I get this warehouse job, because I can tell they already don't respect me. So join a tenant union, join a work union, try and form a union. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yeah, I know. I need some tea. Yep, rich people find it hard to pay for things. I'm talking about my landlord I hated in Annandale. But right, I live in my car, so I don't even have to worry about like stressing about, for instance, there were times I wanted to quit my old job as a bouncer because I disagreed with stuff that was happening at work, or I disagreed with a decision my boss made, and I'm like, this is disrespectful. I don't want to have to deal with this. And I'm glad I stuck it out. Actually, I am glad I did. But here's the thing. The big thought in my mind was, how am I going to pay rent? I can't pay rent if I quit. Now, if I work this job for 6 months, I'll have enough money to live another 6 months easily. So, this is power. This morning I had to shower in like 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Oh, that was tough. It wasn't so cold, really, for my body. It hurt my ears so bad in my jaw. IWW? Yeah, I'm not, well... Yeah, I gotta look into that. Who's the jodido gringo here? Me? I'm not saying what bar I worked at, but was a good place to work at. I did like a lot of the people there, especially the other bouncers I worked with. They were really cool. Remember the whole adventure, me going to LA, that was something. But yeah, I'm gonna do an interview with this warehouse that they only pay $16 an hour, but that dollar over minimum wage is only for the Trump virus. Once they don't want to pay that, I don't even want to say once it goes away. They'll just stop paying it when they don't want to pay it. Then it's back down to $15 an hour. That right there is such disrespect, such contempt, and it's the knowledge that we won't complain about it. So already in my head, I'm thinking, I need a job. Go ahead, work there. It'll be an interesting experience. It'll help me get in better shape. You know, warehouse work, it's tough, but I'll try and do it. As long as there's nothing egregious, I feel, about it. And at least I'll get some money and start seeing if there's any way to make connections with my coworkers and see if they're not happy with the situation either. And I want to spread this message out there to people. This is what you do. This is how you do it. Eventually, it does get to a point where you need to talk to your bosses about it. But that's why you get organized with your coworkers first, so they're not going to just blow you off or find some reason to fire you. If they try and do it with a bunch of people, granted, not everybody can just go on strike. Me, I could go on strike because I'd already have enough money to live if I lost a job there, and I'd just try and find something else. But I know for other people, obviously they'd be in the position I was once in, where it's like, oh, I got to pay rent. I maybe have other bills, got a car payment too, paying off medical debt, student loans. So it's important to talk to people and make sure everyone understands the risks, understands how the boss is going to try and come down on everyone, and then make it a legal thing. So you have an actual agreement in law. That's right. Rise up against greed. Yep, you worked in receiving for a while. Pay was awful. Job was boring and life draining. I bet. At least here, the only reason they're paying $15 an hour is minimum wage. Now think about that. They're saying I'm giving the minimum I can. They're making a lot more than that. They can obviously afford to pay more if they're going to give 6 months or 50-cent raises every 6 months for the first 2 years. 50 cents is an insult. I can't wait to get to that point so I can be like, no, I'm not taking this. Like, you got to give me a $2 an hour wage because 50 cents is like one meal a week extra. You're not giving up a meal a week. You're not giving up anything for this. So treat me with dignity. And the thing is, after 6 months, I'm still going to be homeless. I won't be able to afford a room because I still want to focus on my film career. So I want this money to go into film. And I don't think there's a reason why workers should have to give up the things they want to do while they're working a job just to pay rent. So they can pay better, rents can be lower, or I'll just stay in my car and I'm going to demand more pay. And you know, I should have done that at my old job when I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, because by the time I finished there, they needed me. I was the person, and I just walked off the job one day and quit because my coworker was a fucking punk asshole who I got in arguments with and nearly got in a fight with because he just didn't want to do shit. Like, he just did not want to do things. I asked him very nicely to do something. Went out of my way to be nice because I wanted him to do something for me. He's like, I never heard of that. You can do that if you want to. I won't. The next day when he needed the hose to wash a car, I held the hose. I just stared at him for a while. Then I gave it to him. He's like, what the fuck, man? What you want to go? He threw down his gloves. You want to buy? I'm like, what? What? I can't hear you. Anyways. That's right, Rent Strike. Rent Strike 2020 says employers want people to invest their time and health, and all they want to pay is the minimum. Our lives are worth more. And they would pay less than the minimum if they could. You know they would. But at Enterprise, it was a funny situation because the quality of the workers got worse and worse. The managers got worse and worse with time. I guess all the good managers just went to other jobs. Or sometimes they went to other offices. They stopped caring as much. The manager who was there, if I filmed him, he could have gotten in a lot of trouble. He drove illegally every day. Because he would drive around with us, like, we'd have to do pickups of cars. So, like, say a car dealership, they had a bunch of our customers who were getting work done on their cars, so we would pick them up at the dealer, which was all around the area, like all around the block. We were close to a bunch of dealers. And the next day, when the customers returned their rental cars to the dealer and they'd pick up their cars, the manager sometimes would pick us up and say, okay, guys, so go over and, get the keys and get the cars back to the Enterprise and wash them and clean them. He would drive illegally constantly, like gunning it, swerving between lanes, cutting across the middle lane to go across the left turn lane. He would yell at traffic, honk his horn at people when they had the right of way. So he was an asshole, and he was also one of these assholes who didn't want us to. And I regret that I was a manager like this when I worked at a movie theater. I had a college classmate who I encouraged to work, and he got a job, and he didn't have anything to do. I said, well, you got to be doing something. I regret that I was ever like that because I was a bootlicker. Because now I know telling the employees they have to be moving all the time, that's bullshit. When I started at Enterprise, if we had nothing to clean, we could just sit around and take a break. Read. It was no big deal. When that new manager came in, the asshole driver, he never wanted us to be able to relax. We always had to be doing something. Well, got to a point where I was the best employee as far as a lot attendant, who cleaned the cars the best, who knew all the routes everywhere, who every morning at 6:30 would come in and I would know to go get the keys for cars from the other lots and pick up customers and whatever. Like there was a routine I started out doing throughout the day that nobody else quite knew how to do well. And one of the other employees, he didn't speak English well at all. He was a cool guy overall. It was funny. He would give me his food a lot. Salvadorian guy. He worked 2 jobs. I don't know how he did it. He would work in the morning at Enterprise and then work nights cleaning like offices. And there was like him, and I don't even remember who else, like maybe 2 or 3 other guys. There was one other kind of cool guy, and then there was this asshole, punk, who just didn't want to do stuff. It was like, well, I'm not doing that. And finally, I just cussed him out one day and yelled at him. Oh, and then by then, there was another manager who was even worse than the previous manager I talked about. And so I just walked off, quit, never came back. They tried calling me the next week, asking if I could, because I knew they were screwed without me. And that's the thing. By that point, if I wanted, I could have made a position, a stand of saying, look, I want more pay, which I would have thought to do. And they were always trying to keep me under full-time hours because they did not want to pay me full-time benefits, which, hey, what do I care? At the time, I wasn't really worried about money that badly. But by the time I was like the most competent employee, that's when they needed me. So screw them. Oh, I'm sure employers were trying to be automating everything they can. I don't know. I don't think they'll have robots in 5 years to do all that. But I'm sure they'd like to, as much as possible. Right? Sure, I guess. Yeah. Benefits is good, granted. They are important. However, I don't pay my bills with benefits. So if you're giving benefits and paying $15 an hour, I'd rather have more money and the benefits. And I still don't want to have to buy my own medical insurance. Anyways, yeah. So I'm encouraging people, do this. Don't wait. I'm older now. I didn't think about this stuff or care enough when I was younger. I really thought at a movie theater I worked at, and I was going through a lot of other crap too, that I'll just work my way up the ranks in the movie theater, and eventually I'll be rich, and somehow I'll get connected to the film world through the movie theater world, like, and then I'll be directing movies, and I'll be rich and famous, and that's it. Oh, this asshole cut in front of someone who was driving reasonably, and now he's on the wrong side of the driveway. So if anyone tries to turn in, they won't be able to. You got to do it. That's the only way they'll change, the only way they'll pay more. Occasionally, you'll get the odd employer like my old boss at the bar who would pay more. But even in that case, I never got raises in 5 years. Never got paid vacation time. Granted, I was working 4 nights a week, so I had my days off as it is. I was working 6 hours a night. It was a fairly easy job. But nothing was changing. So after a while, it became kind of like, really, like I was self-conscious about it. Like, this person is perfectly aware that my life is going nowhere here. They know it. And for some people, that's okay. For some of my coworkers, that's fine. They liked it. The other bouncers there, they were really cool guys. I had a lot of fun being around them. But for them, like, they weren't trying to do anything else. That was their life. Being around the bar, having fun. You know, they're friends with the people at the bar. I didn't hang out there very much. I definitely wasn't trying to make friends with a bunch of people there. So I was always kind of the odd man out as far as, like, I wasn't trying to socialize a ton. I wasn't trying to do a lot. So it was depressing too. It was lonely. But anyways, we got to get people to do this. And yes, I will make videos as much as I can about my day-to-day at the job and stuff. And that's interesting because even when I worked as a bouncer, I didn't even say I was a bouncer for years on my channel. And now I have less and less inhibition about that. Granted, I respect people's privacy. I'm not going to bring stuff out on YouTube that doesn't need to be there. And I'm sure a lot of it's just going to be uneventful. But I really think we should. Because how much worse can it get? Think about that. How much worse can it get right now? Which is, it can get a lot worse. With the Trump virus. With the election coming that Trump and his followers, even if Biden overwhelmingly wins, won't treat as legitimate. There was a trailer park I read that the owner of the trailer park, the landlord, sent out a letter to everyone saying, I don't know who you plan on voting for, but I'm just letting you know if Trump doesn't win, I'm raising everyone's rents because we can't have this. We got to have Trump. Which, by the way, shows it's just about the cruelty. It's the rent they charge is just bullshit. They can charge what they want. You know, beyond a certain amount just to cover the bills. This landlord was threatening me, and it got in the news, and then they denied it, you know. So we're not pressuring people to vote anything, but now it's being investigated by the police or the whatever attorney general as far as if that was an act of voter intimidation. That's the mentality of these people, is just do what we want or we'll inflict cruelty on you. Who knows the amount of things that could go wrong. And one way to change things, shut things down and make demands. Hey, Ace. Repeat the instructions. Wait, I will, but that company is going bankrupt anyways. What company? I lost track of what you're talking about, or I don't even remember mentioning a company. Oh, thank you so much, Ace. Oh, yes, I see it. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. That helps. Well, here's what happened today. I got a call for a job interview with a warehouse. They only pay $15 an hour. Well, but they're paying $1 extra an hour for the Trump virus, which I think is bullshit. If you're going to pay more, keep it that level. That is such that is like letting you know how little you think of your employees when it's like, yeah, it's just extra now, but we'll bring it back down later. 50-cent an hour raises every 6 months. Okay, so that's good for like one meal at a restaurant, a cheaper meal every 6 months. If I get a meal and pay a tip, it'll be like $16 or $17. No medical pay. If you get the Trump virus, you have to find your own testing for it. They will not provide testing. The short film I'm going to work on this weekend provides Trump virus testing and free meals. I'll be working hard, working early in the morning, getting up like very, very early, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I don't care. I'll be going to bed earlier, going to sleep. What am I talking about? But what I'm thinking is two things. Oh, and I had to pay $60 to get a copy of my birth certificate because they require that to get the job. So you can do that, and oh my goodness, I can't believe I thought it was going to be $23, and they said, oh, there's going to be shipping fees too. And I'm like, okay, well, how much can that be? $4? No, shipping fees are $20, and then another $15 fee on there. So I'm really screwed because of that financially, but I'll get by. And I have the interview soon this week. No, they're not reimbursing me for the birth certificate because they don't give a shit. They're not reimbursing anything, and anyway, so my instructions are twofold. One, join the Congress of Essential Workers. It's not a political party. It's not a union. It's a collective online. It's basically just search for it on DuckDuckGo, and you put your name, email, phone number, and it asks for like 2 ways you're able to help out. And it'll give you a list of ways you can contribute, or you click other and list something. So I clicked social media. You can click other options, like you're willing to phone bank, I guess. You're willing to recruit other people. And it's basically a collective that's demanding certain things like higher wages, paid medical care, parental leave, vacation time, hour-long breaks, protective equipment during the Trump virus, a few other things I don't remember. And it's just good. I don't even know if it's going to work. I don't know what their plans are, but it's good to at least be connected on some level, to add your name, like add to the numbers of people connected. Because imagine if 10 million people were on it. All of a sudden, that's a negotiating tool in itself to put on the news. Say 10 million people have joined the Congress of Essential Workers. And to be able to mobilize and have the area you're in and the field you're in connected to other people in that field, maybe in the same employer, so you're better able to unionize, and you already know they're like-minded. You don't have to worry about, should I tell them about this or not? Because the other thing I'm thinking about doing is, if I get this job, I want to be a good worker and get to know the other employees and be a good help to them too, is start figuring out who's interested in the idea of getting better pay, of collective bargaining, of negotiating with the employer for better benefits, for a union, for paid medical leave, especially if the Trump virus, for protective gear, which I'm not even clear if they provide it there or not, with paid overtime, proper lunches. I don't know what they all offer there as far as breaks, but you have to be able to approach people to do that, and then you can make it a legal thing. You approach your boss and you approach the whatever it is, the UE or something, and you have to make sure it's legal going forward. You can't just say we're a union now, it's a union. You have to be able to get people you trust at work to do it. So my last workplace, the bar, that would have never happened. Nobody would have wanted to do it. Excuse me, I'm getting all, like, my allergies are acting up and my throat's getting coarse. Sore from talking. But yeah, and they're paying the minimum, but they don't want minimum pay. They want a lot more than that. Yeah, I got interview clothes. Oh man, I don't want to wear a suit to my interview to this place because it's obviously not a place you would wear a suit. I'd look kind of ridiculous, but I can't wear these jeans. Look at the holes in them. These are good jeans. They've held up, but I've abused them. Doing burpees with my wallet in my pants, and it kind of tore open here. And same with, excuse me, here, this ripped open because I have my glasses in here when I was doing burpees. It took like 7 months to wear away at that. So now when I do my burpees, I put this in my jacket pocket. But so I can't wear that. I got to see if I have another pair of jeans. I think I do. Foot care, yeah. So I have steel-toed boots as well. I'll probably wear those, I guess, because these shoes I have now are nice, but they're not that tough. And I know with a job where you crease them a lot and bend them and get on like your toes and pivot a lot, it'll tear them up, because that's what happened to my old shoes. They just got torn the hell up. Whew, I had my boom boom. I had my whatever that thing is, cough drops. I'm going to see if I have jeans in my laundry bag. I know I have other jeans, but they might be in my trunk. I'm not sure. Or did I throw them away? Got them somewhere. But what I'm telling other people is, one, go join the Congress of Essential Workers. Make a note of it now, or open another tab while you have this video open. Join it. Takes like 2 minutes. You don't even pay anything. You don't make a profile. You don't make a password. You just upload your name, email, phone number, and you put like why you want to join. I said because I'm looking for work now, like in warehouses, and maybe your location. It adds something, you know. It's a way of, and everything's like, you know, algorithmically decided in a way. It's like got to have numbers behind it. This is not a social network, so it's not like there's an algorithm behind it like on Facebook or Twitter. Oh, my nose is getting stuffed up. But even so, and click like, everyone. Think about it. What other crisis could come now that we're going to wait for housing to get more expensive, for more people to not be able to pay rent, for more people to lose jobs, until we decide we've got to negotiate as a union in whatever workforce we're in, whatever field of work we're in, whatever company. And the employers, they'll give up the money, but only if they know you're demanding it and you're serious. And it can't just be one person doing it or two. That's why I'm not just coming out right now and say, oh, I want more money. I'd like it, but maybe they'd give it, probably not. But it's better if I'm already there and I'm getting people's trust and I show them a good worker. And so I get to the point where I can get a bunch of people together to sign and say, look, we respectfully, we have, even though it's kind of, it's automatically kind of not respectful in that we're showing we know you don't value us, so we're having to make you value us. But respectfully, we believe we're working much more than the minimum. We're entitled to much more than the minimum. We're struggling to pay our bills. I'm still going to be homeless, I'm sure. I don't know, maybe I'll rent someplace, we'll see. There are nice places around here, but I just can't stomach the idea of spending all that money. People are not able to enjoy their free time much. We're working a lot for not much pay. Can't spend it. I don't know what the paid vacation policy is, if they have it. The only place I ever worked at that had paid vacation was Bank of America. And even then I didn't go anywhere on my vacation. And they did offer good benefits. It's just most of them I didn't need or take advantage of, like tuition assistance. Fuck that, I don't care. So we have to do that. That's the thing. Because once you do that, I've heard the stories where employers will come begging you to go back to work and try and figure out what your demands are. They don't do it now. Why? Because they know you're not serious about it, because they know they can intimidate you. They're the ones with the money. You're the ones with the bills. Let's see if I have jeans in here. Let's go digging around for some jeans. So that's why I'm encouraging people. Click like. Get this message out there. Imagine it. Just imagine it. What if you didn't have to stress like, oh, fuck, okay, here's my $245 check. Okay, immediately some of it going out to groceries, to gas, to my car payment, to... Whoa, man. I'm going from choking up to clearing my nose. To rent, to groceries. Did I say that already? To whatever other little things you need. Oh, I need new shoes. I need new pants. I need, more shampoo. I need more... whatever else people buy. You want to actually go out and enjoy your life, which I barely did for years, working at bars and working at bars. But living in Annandale and living in Arlington, I barely went out that whole time. I was so miserable. And why should you live like that? Now the bootlickers, they want to come in and say, why do you want so much money? I don't get it. You should work harder. You should make more money. Oh, you want to make more money while you're working harder? Oh, no, never mind. Whoa, hold on. Don't do that. Because they want you to be poor and stay poor. Do it to piss them off. So you're doing the right thing for you and your family, and you're doing something petty and vindictive at the same time. You're doing the right thing, and you're being petty at the same time. Win-win. There's no better win-win in my book. All right, I'm going to look for these jeans. Trigger the bootlickers. Okay, there's something here. Are these jeans? Am I gonna change my pants for the first time in 7 months? I've literally been wearing these pants more than 7 months, actually. I got these, somebody gave them to me last December. Yes, that is a jean, a part of a jean. Are these my crappy old jeans or what? Or are these another pair that someone gave to me? I think they might have given me two, I'm not sure. Wrangler jeans. I think I probably bought these, but I haven't worn them much. So okay, I'm wearing these to the interview. That's good to know. Here's the ass of the jeans. And how they look down here. Good, not too bad. Okay, these will be my work jeans, because the ones I have now, they're fucking covered in dirt from walking around at the park. I did wear these, I think. They're a little worn at the pocket, but not a big deal. Maybe not worn, I don't know. Anyways, I haven't even laid eyes on these in almost a year, so mwah. I'm a blue jean kind of guy. Could always riot against greedy companies. That's right. Okay, Ace Howard. The website, I don't remember the address of the website. My food situation is I'm starving kind of deliberately, but also I don't have money. Oh, excuse me. And thank you, Ace, for saying that about my coworkers, that they'll like me. I guess they will, yeah. The website is look up Congress of Essential Workers and sign up there. I did. Takes 2 or 3 minutes. Really simple. At least add your name to the list of numbers. Like, add to the numbers on there. Because say at 10,000, okay, it's not a whole lot. Say it was 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. You don't need half the country on there. All you need is a large minority to make a huge difference. Imagine if the word of mouth spread so much on it that all of a sudden it spread to all these industries where now it was a serious, not just a way of, a serious force of bargaining with employers, but with politicians themselves to say the minimum wage needs to be raised nationwide. Nobody should be struggling to live. I don't know what shirt I'll wear for it, because my shirts aren't all that great, but that's all right. I'm definitely not wearing a suit. Not to a warehouse job. That would look ridiculous. And I don't know how it's going to work on the Congress of Essential Workers page, what they'll do, because they said they'll email you, basically, when something happens. So I don't know what that's going to be like. Maybe they're waiting for more people. I don't know. Maybe it won't work, but what do you have to lose? Like Trump said, what do you have to lose? Try it. Just try it. What do you have to lose? Click like and join the Congress of Essential Workers. Not with only 27 likes. Yeah, I know. Wrangler jeans are crap. These ones are Kenneth Cole jeans. The ones I'm wearing, these are really strong. You vote Godzilla shirt? Yep. Don't take Godzilla's name in vain. If they're Walmart jeans, if you call them that, maybe I don't remember if someone gave me these or if I got them from Target. Because if I got them from anywhere, it would have been Target. Thank you. Sure, I guess. Okay, for copying and pasting this. Thank you. Okay, I should have asked somebody to do that earlier. Sure, I guess. Did you sign up already? Sure, I guess quotes them, says the Congress of Essential Workers is a secure, collaborative network of essential workers and allies fighting for the elimination of billionaires, good wealth redistribution, and protecting the working class from exploitative CEOs like Jeff Bezos. Right, and Chris Smalls was fired from Amazon, Jeff Bezos' company, for trying to unionize there, and he either started the Congress of Essential Workers or he's just helping promote it. I can't remember which. I heard him talk about it on the radio. That's where I learned of it. Someone asked, how's my mom doing? She's fine. I mean, is she worried about me? Not really. But, oh, excuse me. She said she would have mailed me my birth certificate if I asked. I was like, I didn't know you would do that. I thought I tried to ask it about it before, and you're like, oh, you won't email it because it's too dangerous. I could lose it. And now she says she'd mail it overnight. And I'm like, well, how much would that cost? She'd be like, oh, just $22. I'm like, shit, well, it's too late. I don't see any option to cancel my order now of my birth certificate. So there's $60 I spent to get it just to get this job. So yeah, food situation, not great. I'm literally eating like an apple, oatmeal, protein powder, a kind bar, herring, and tuna each day. That's it, like a little bit. The good thing is I'm losing weight. And it's healthy stuff, but I could go for some more herring right now. Man, that stuff hits the spot. But I'm not trying to eat this late. I always regret it when I eat this late. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I'm asking people, and I know it's hard for it because even if someone told me this when I was 25, I would not have listened at all because I didn't care. I didn't care about any of this. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. You know, I don't want to be in a union. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be in my own business. And yeah, I'm doing that now, but it takes a long time to build that up. And I'm working on my screenplays in the meantime, and it shouldn't have to be a struggle between surviving and doing what you want to live and enjoying your life. This is the only life you have. So employers could make that much more possible. At the same time, other things have to happen, you know, like cheaper housing, but more more housing, more housing options. I'd be glad to live in like a tiny home or a storage unit, literally like storage pods. That there's a company that redesigns them to rent them out so they have utilities. But there's only like, I think they have like two what do you call it? Like complexes of them. And of course, there's legal issues involved to make sure, oh, you're zoned for it. You got to be zoned for it. And as it is, a lot of land is zoned for expensive housing, for high-income luxury apartments or single-family homes, which are very expensive. Not for lower-income apartments, not for, which, by the way, lower-income apartments cost about as much to make as luxury ones. It's not a huge difference. When they give people on housing assistance crappy apartments like public housing that are crappy, they're doing it as like punishment for being poor. They want you to be miserable there. They could easily make it more like luxury apartments. It's not that much more expensive at all. What was I saying? Yeah, and the single family home thing. I mean, so you can't have tiny homes. You can't have, because it's not zoned for it. You can't have options like the storage pods, you know, like moving pods converted into a home that you can rent cheaply, or even why not just own it yourself. But it's going to be a lot of things. But think about what more urgent time do we have than right now, since so many of our jobs are threatened right now, and our lives are threatened by the Trump virus spreading around faster and faster. People who don't care about other people's lives, don't care about science, who are actively opposing higher wages and health care and protections from the Trump virus. They don't want masks. They don't want social distancing. They don't want people to stay home. So, at least join the Congress of Essential Workers, and at your workplaces, where possible, look into it first. Don't just do anything spur of the moment. Look into it, figure out what you need to do, and start talking to your coworkers about it, about unionizing, and figure out what the steps are to do it. Just look it up on DuckDuckGo, and you'll see the UE website or whatever. I forgot to link to any of this stuff in the description that says the exact steps, because it's not like, you know, you just do it and you just say you're a union. You have to set up with a lawyer and make it like a legally binding thing that you're a union, and you figure out, you know, what your role in the union would be, all that stuff. I'm sure it's not all simple. It's not all just an easy answer, but it's so much better than just struggling to survive. And I'm sure if the minimum wage wasn't $15, I know they'd pay less than $15 an hour at this warehouse. Maybe they'd pay $11 or $12, but they would just pay barely what they think they need to pay you to be able to keep coming back to work. and just enough so you can survive. But me, I don't have to worry about rent. So they can't hold that over me like, oh my goodness, I'm so worried I'm not going to be able to pay rent. No. Once I start working, I'm already ahead of things. You can, sure, I guess, if you want, copy and paste anything else from the Congress of Essential Workers page. If there's anything else short enough that can fit into a comment. Time's at 8:10. Getting towards my bedtime. Yeah, I know what you mean, sure, I guess, and I'm sure parents are different on that. My mom, it's kind of like, Angelo's going to do what he's going to do. I mean, what's she going to do? I'm an adult, you know. But she was in no position to stop me. She didn't like it at first, but she knew she couldn't stop me. And now, it's a good thing. Now she's glad I'm here instead of Virginia, because she knows it would be so much more worse there for me. It's much colder. There's much fewer job options. The jobs don't pay as well. I couldn't get the free medical coverage there. And I'm not around all the filmmakers that I like here, even though I can't be around them now, but I've had already so many good experiences in LA. I mean, this pandemic's going to end at some point. It's a shame, but in the meantime, I'm making the most of it, trying to recover myself mentally from my disorder, my dissociative disorder, and be ready as possible for when things start up again, be ready to go back to work on set or whatever the case, or have my screenplays ready, or go further into working on my screenplays. I'm doing it now just on a notebook. It was hard today because it was so windy, but I'm still trying to do it. So if nothing else you take from this, join the Congress of Essential Workers. I mean, assuming you are an essential worker and you're not some CEO yourself watching this video. And either join a tenants union or at least follow them online, figure out what they're about, and join them. But we need to get them, trending and their numbers added to. That's how they start, spreading their information with more people, more money. Hopefully the wind won't be too bad tomorrow morning, so when I shower it's not going to be as rough on me. Because this morning it wasn't the worst situation because the temperature wasn't too bad. It really wasn't. It was like 58 degrees, I checked. The problem was the wind blowing so hard, and it was really hurting my ears once I got back in the car, and it hurt my jaw too. Like, it was really painful. But there's no way I'm missing my shower. And I got my nice hat. Again, I'll show you while I got my stage lighting. I like this because I don't have to put my hoodie up to protect the back of my neck from the sun. I do have to have it up to protect the sides of my face, though. Tip your beanie. Looks kind of like those safari hats. Now I'm like an anime character. I'm like an anime character anyways. This is nice. It's like spongy. It's comfortable. Crocodile hunter, right? So y'all got the message. Click like on the video. Get this out there. Join the Congress of Essential Workers. Join a tenant union. And again, you don't rush into it. Look into first what unionizing entails. Figure out how it's going to work. Figure out the possible reprisals your employer can bring to you. Go in informed. So look up other stories where it's been bad, where employers will find any reason to fire you. If you're not ready for it, don't do it. Don't try and unionize. But if you look it up and you are ready, then you can go forward. And the only way to get ready is by reading. by educating yourself, by learning about it. And think about it, we can make it happen. We can make a new minimum wage. Really, minimum wage should be higher than $15 an hour across the country. It should be probably at least $20 an hour. I've heard people say $33 an hour. If it was, you know, for inflation, equivalent to what it was in when it was last raised to $7.25 an hour. Maybe that's right. Think about how much of a difference that would make in your life, how much easier your life would be. And no, it doesn't make everything more expensive when that happens. Cities that did that, like Seattle, it didn't all of a sudden have a huge drop in employment and more expensive things in stores. California, it's there are other like a reason stuff's expensive here. You know, it has to be shipped in and everything. But there's lots of opportunities here, and there were before the pandemic. But still, you're up against employers who will screw people, cheat people, who pay less than minimum wage anyways here. I've seen those jobs on Indeed, where they pay less than minimum wage. Yeah, I use water bottles to shower, 2 of them. What comment was funny if sad? I don't get it. I don't follow. Days are going by so quickly. That's kind of sad. I wish I was, at a computer, and I don't even know what I'm going to do once I get the job, or if I get this job, whatever the case, if I'll rent an office, because, yeah, it'd be good to have one. It'd be really good to have one. At the same time, I might rather just save that money, because I don't know, I would be curious as well to see if there's any option whatsoever to be able to use some space in this warehouse to work at my laptop. Probably not. I'm not expecting there to be, but I'm curious to see if there's any office that's unused or something, a conference room or something that I could sit in and charge my phone, something like that. Well, thanks, Color Sock. I don't even know what you're referring to, sure, I guess. And as far as the office goes, I don't know if it'll be worth it, really, at least for a time, to rent an office, even a cheaper one. And that part of the reason I would rent an office is because it's cheaper than renting a room. Even if I'm only saving about $300 a month, that's still a lot of money. That could help with gas, food, just saving it. And I need to pay off my car repair bill from last year from my Civic that got destroyed. I still owe like $900 or $800 on that, something like that. So I got to pay that off right away, because if I don't pay it off by February, then they start charging massive amounts of interest. So I definitely want to get that paid first. But as far as having an office, yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to be out of the park. It will be nice to be able to be on my laptop and work on that for sure. Edit videos and to write. But I just got to figure out how worth it it's going to be. Because I'm not going to have a lot of money. I'm not going to make all that much. I calculated it. Even if I get a 1 hour unpaid lunch break at the job, I don't know what the lunch break policy even is, but it looks like I might be making, I don't know how much taxes are going to take, but let's say after taxes I'm making $1,600 or $1,700 a month. That's not a lot. That's less than what, $24,000 a year? That's not even that. That is not a whole lot. I think I made on my W-2 $20,000. My last full year I worked at the bar, and I was surprised I made that much, because I was broke all the time. I was broke every month trying to pay rent. I was always, broke. Paying for groceries. It was a huge cost for me. What are you talking about? Planet Fitness, $70 sign up fee. I signed up there for like $20. And I was signed up there for a while, but then they shut down because of the pandemic. So Planet Fitness is closed in LA. I see. So maybe even less. Maybe even $1,500 a month. Let's just say that. I don't know. If I'm making that much, and I'm spending $500 a month on an office, that's barely anything really for anything else after insurance, cell phone, food. Assuming I'll pay my credit cards, I don't know how that's going to go. If I'm paying credit cards, that right there is another $500 a month or so. That's going to leave practically nothing. So how does that really make sense to even work that job then? So that's why I'm saying we got to negotiate. We got to get more money. Yes, it takes time. Obviously, I'm at this age now. I'm 35. I didn't do this before. I wouldn't have thought of this before. I wasn't interested in it. Obviously, things have changed a lot in the last year. Between the shutdown, moving to LA, and my dissociative disorder, things have just gotten a bit different. Wish they would just tax the rich. If you tax the rich, you could deal with a lot of these problems. Don't forget, taxes went up for low-income earners under Trump. What was that bullshit about your taxes you're gonna be able to do your taxes on a postcard with him? That never happened. Never was going to happen. Oh man, I can't deny it. My allergies are getting worse. Maybe tomorrow I should try and set up an appointment with a doctor to get tested for, I don't know, it's not too bad right now as far as my allergies, but they could very well get worse as the winter goes on. And if I'm trying to work a job, oh, that's going to be hell dealing with my allergies then. That's going to be impossible. If I'm sneezing and I have to work a warehouse job. Thank you, sure, I guess. Appreciate it. Well, click like, everyone. It sure helps me keep streaming and stay alive because I'm really low on money, and just helping the channel helps me out. I make a little money on YouTube, and unfortunately, I need this job now. I wish I didn't have to get it. I wish if we got the $2,000 a month stimulus payments, I'd be covered. I'd be good. I wouldn't have to work a crappy job risking my life, because that's really what you're doing with the Trump virus, and risking permanent sickness with it, because lots of people are reporting things like headaches, fatigue, memory loss afterwards, other symptoms, still, lung problems, kidney problems. All just to make what? I might make $1,500 a month after taxes. Working long hours. It's not what we usually consider long hours, but I think it should be considered long hours because it's unreasonable. Like, it's such a large part of your day to do something you don't like just to have a little bit of your life that you can enjoy. Screw that. I'm saying life should be a lot better than that. It could be. Fuck the bootlickers. Don't listen to the bootlickers who tell you why should you? Why should you make more money? No. When I said you should make more money, what I meant is just be poor. Just stay poor. See how it chafes them, how it upsets them so much to hear about people wanting to get more than minimum wage, to unionize. Why no discussion from them of why corporations don't pay more? They can't do it. It's not possible. Look, they feel this sense of self-aggrandizement when they just think about corporation making more money. makes them feel so excited and aroused that they act like they'll get rich just by somebody else getting rich. It's literally like an addiction, like watching. I used to be like that. I loved watching biographies of rich people because I thought, oh, I'm going to be like that someday. I want to keep watching and understand what it was like. And bootlickers are convinced that, like the saying goes, they're just temporarily embarrassed millionaires. I can smell the tacos, even though my nose is stuffed up. Tacos around here, those taco stands. I still gotta lose weight, or I'd get one. So what do you say? Are you gonna put up with this? Are you gonna let them steamroll over you your whole life? Or are you gonna fight back? Are you going to start talking about unionizing? Are you going to look up the Congress of Essential Workers? Are you going to look up how to unionize? Damn, I got to piss again. I haven't even drank much water for the last 2 hours of this stream. And notice what the bootlickers will say. First, it's, why are you homeless? Just stop. It just bothers me that you're homeless because it doesn't flatter my sense of the world being right. And if anybody wants to work, you just get a home when you get a job. That's how simple it is. Look how they'll change from saying, oh, you should get a job, you should just make some money, to once I have a job, what they'll be saying then. Then termites always scatter. Then it'll be, oh, stop asking for so much money. Stop being so greedy. Why are you complaining? Just don't complain. Why? What's the problem? How does it affect your life? What's the impact on your life if I say an employer should pay more money? They should treat their workers better. Can any of them explain that? Why that's a dilemma for them? There's certainly no ethical dilemma. I think people should be able to survive without struggling. But why? Oh, you're just making me feel like being rich doesn't make me better than anyone. And I don't like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. That's all it comes down to. They're non sequiturs with non sequiturs. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. With their special pleading, with their pointless arguments about why are you asking for more money? None of your fucking problem. All right, Color Sock. Thank you for watching. It is getting a little bit cold. I'm going to roll up the windows a little more. I don't roll them up all the way if I can help it. But it's cold enough to where I can leave them rolled up. Before, the problem was I had to leave them rolled way down. It was too hot to sleep. If all that's wrong with my allergies is my nose gets stuffed up, that's fine. But I feel my allergies slightly getting worse. But it's only when I'm in the car, though, at night. It's weird. It doesn't happen during the day so much. I don't know what that is. For real, even when I wake up in my car, I don't have allergies. I don't know, maybe I'm kicking up something. Some dust that accumulates in the car. Wow, that noise you heard on that car for It's a lot of noise for a really crappy, beat up old like Mitsubishi or something that definitely doesn't look like it's worth having any money put into it being modded. Yeah, they're just greedy. That's true. That's all you can say about them. Yeah. Well, guys, it's 8:30. It's getting late enough. I spread my message around there. I spread my message around successfully. I do want to sleep, so I can get up early. And Wednesday, Wednesday I got to go do my interview. So click like, spread the word. I'm gonna try and link to the Congress of Essential Workers in the description. And yeah, don't take it if you don't have to. Talk about unionizing and watch my videos. Very important. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.